Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome to Scrubs and Savings. I'm a 21-year-old nursing student documenting my personal and financial journey here on YouTube. And today we are going to be budgeting my third paycheck of April as well as my federal tax return. I use the budgeting software. You need a budget for all of my budgeting needs. If you are interested, I have a referral link down below that would give you a free month of YNAB if you sign up after the 34-day free trial. So the first change I made to my budget was adding a little money mantra at the top in my notes. And this is inspired by the owner of YNAB, Jesse Meekum's show. I changed it a little bit to fit how I want to view my money. So the way I want to see and use my money is to spend joyfully, save aspirationally, and give generously. And then I also added a little notes section just so that I remember what to talk about during these videos. So the first thing to do is a paycheck breakdown. So I got paid $213.52 from my hospital job. So I worked 12.1 hours at my regular rate, and then I get a shift differential, which adds 10% to my regular rate, and I work that for 4.5 hours, and then for my weekend shift differential, I get an extra $2 per hour for the work that I do. So that only adds, both of those combined only adds $18 extra to my paycheck, but every dollar does make a difference in my budget. And then for my federal tax refund, I received $411. In total, I have $624.52 ready for me to budget. So what I've decided to do with any extra money that comes in that doesn't come from my paychecks is to park it in my emergency fund. But before we do that with the $411, I do owe my state government $117 in taxes, and that is coming out on April 14th. So I was just waiting to budget that out when I got my federal tax return, so that would be $117. And then to file for my state taxes with TurboTax, I have to pay $25 to them, so I'm just going to add $25 there. And then finally we get to go to my savings, and my emergency fund category is called Got Nurse. So what we are going to do is add 411 minus 117 minus 25. And that, I think that added $269 to my emergency fund, which is super exciting, and I'm so happy to finally see my emergency fund grow again. And then with the rest of the $210, we are actually going to head on over to May and add $213 to my extra car loan payment, and then move the 52 cents to my wish farm for my new wish to purchase the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and the Creator Combo Kit. This camera and Creator Combo Kit is all the rage, and I feel like it would be I think purchasing this camera would be a great way to increase the quality of my videos. So, looking back at my notes, so I already broke down my paycheck and budgeted out my money, and next I want to talk about this last week's expenses. So I'm going to go into my reports. So far in the month of April, I have spent $424.68, and I have spent a lot of money on Joyful Life. which has been $272.47, and $211.98 of that was to purchase Final Cut Pro, because I have been using the 90-day free trial and I have really been loving it. So I saved up $211.98 so that I could purchase it as a student. And so far I've also spent $60.49 on dining out. What this purchase is something that I am not very happy about, but it happened. So I of course pack my lunch when I am going to the hospital, but unfortunately I forgot to bring it to work one day, and so I didn't have any lunch, so I had to spend $3.17 on hospital pizza. Luckily, the pizza isn't bad, but it was just frustrating to have spent money on something that I didn't even want to spend money on, but that's alright. And then the following day, I went out for Italian food with one of my closest friends to celebrate the end of nursing school, and I got an Italian sausage rigatoni with goat cheese, and it was absolutely scrumptious. And we were supposed to get cocktails, but I lost my driver's license in the student center that day, so I didn't have my ID on me. So we couldn't get cocktails that night, which honestly I'm kind of happy about because those cocktails were like $20 anyway. So saved a little bit of money on that. And then we just decided to do a movie night. So from Trader Joe's we split a bag of movie theater popcorn as well as some type of dip. I don't even remember what it was. And then I spent my $152.21 on my normal giving already. So I have a few things coming up in the next week that I have to shift money around for. So if you've been watching my videos, my most recent budget videos, you know that I had planned to get cocktails out with another one of my friends, but we had to do a rain check on that. But I texted her and we made plans to go next Friday, and I moved the rest of the money that I had in my dining out category to purchase or fund my wish to get Final Cut Pro, which is perfectly fine, but I do not want to spend money that is not in my dining out category, so I'm going to move money over there. I don't think I'm going to spend any more than $20, so unfortunately I have to move some money from my beauty category, but even though I do have a few purchases that I need to make soon, but we will figure things out when we get there. So I'm going to move the $20 to my dining out category, and then we have $15 left in beauty, which is perfectly fine. I'll just hold off on purchasing those items, and then Nick and I are supposed to go out to dinner next Saturday night, but I already have $30 ready to go for that. And then I wanted to share a few fun things that are going on. So Nick, my partner, and I are going to Tennessee in a few weeks now, and I'm so excited, but we are just already itching to plan our next few trips, and we are thinking of visiting the East Coast sometime in the late spring of 2026, and we've been talking about going on an international trip, and the tentative plan is to go to France in September, which is super exciting. Obviously, I'm not able to start saving up for these travel plans right now, but the plan is to save a good chunk of my big girl checks to travel and hopefully use future credit card points to cover the flights and accommodations for our international trip. I don't have any updates on the bank bonuses right now. I'm still waiting on the upgrade bonus and the Capital One bonus, and we're going to take a break from opening bank accounts right now until I start making more money. And then something I want to remind myself of is that, well, I don't have to remind myself of this, but I need to make sure that I remember to fund more money towards my date night category next month because it is going to be Nick's birthday. So we don't have any specific plans for his birthday right now, but I want to make sure that we can have a good time. But I think $75 should be enough for whatever we decide to do because I want to cover our dinner and whatever activity we end up doing. That's it for this budget video. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And I am going to celebrate my 1 year on YouTube with a Q&A, so if you have any questions for me, feel free to comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.